So the topic that we're going to discuss here is promotion or integrated marketing communications. And this is a combination of the two chapters, chapter 17 and 18 in the book. So we're going to start with what do we mean by integrated marketing communications. And we are actually going to come back to this definition later. What we're going to discuss here is, and just going to read through the definition here, designing marketing communications programs that coordinate all promotional activities to provide a consistent message across all audiences. So what we're going to discuss first is the promotional activities that we are talking about here, and then we'll come back to this definition later. So we're going to talk about advertising, personal selling, sales promotion, public relations, and direct marketing. Starting off with advertising, and you might already know what advertising is. I'm just going to provide a definition here. This is any paid form of non-personal communication. So you know that it's non-personal because it's advertising. It's mainly on television, radio, print advertising, and so on. So this is non-personal. That is, nobody comes in person to you and tells you about the product, but this is mainly on a mass basis that this communication is provided. And it's about what? It's about an organization, good, service, or idea. Basically, whatever you want to communicate about. This is about those by an identified sponsor. You would know who has paid for it. You know who's the sponsor. You can identify the sponsor. Because you know if it's a Coke advertisement, Coke has paid for it. If it's a soap advertisement, let's say it's a Johnson & Johnson soap advertisement, you know that Johnson & Johnson has paid for it. So this is, again, any paid form of non-personal communication about organization, good, service, or an idea by an identified sponsor. Next is personal selling. This is when you personally want to sell a product to the buyer, as the name suggests. It's a two-way communication between the buyer and the seller. So we want to have a two-way communication. We don't want it to be like advertising, which is non-personal, and you cannot personally talk to the consumer, to the potential consumer. But we want a two-way communication so that the buyer can ask us questions, we can answer them back, and so on. This is mainly designed to influence a person's or group's purchase decision. So whenever we have this face-to-face communication, you want that you can influence this potential consumer's purchase decision and make them select our product. That's personal selling, when you can have a two-way communication between the buyer and the seller. Public relations is mainly, this is as it says, it's a form of communication management. So this is really a communication management which involves a lot of things in order to, again, influence the feelings, opinions, or beliefs about a particular company or its products and services. So you want to really change their not just their purchase decisions, which is the end results that you achieve, but before that you want to influence their feelings, opinions, and beliefs about your product and its products or services. So that's a whole separate management that it involves in order to do that. Publicity is a part of public relations, which is a non-personal, indirectly paid presentation of an organization, good, or service. So if you look at the picture here, it says publicity is giving someone a reason to talk about you. So you really want to be in the news, you want to publish some articles so that people are talking about you, so that you kind of indirectly paying for your presentation of your goods and services, but it's again non-personal. It's something in the consumers can see in the news, or they can read about this, basically leading them to have, again, some opinions or feelings or beliefs about your organization, because as I said, it's a part of public relations. Next is sales promotion, which is where you if you look at the picture there, buy two get one free, buy one get one 50% off, or you get free samples. All of that is a part of sales promotion, and this is done as a as a way to build interest in buying your products or services. You want consumers to try on your products so that once they have tried, because of buy two get one free or because of free samples that they get, you have created a short-term inducement of value in those consumers. And now that these consumers have tried on your products, the goal is that they'll be loyal to your products, they'll be loyal to your brand, and they'll keep buying from your organization. So that's a sales promotion, short-term inducement of value offered to arouse interest in buying a product or service. Now, direct marketing, as the name suggests, is communicating directly with the consumers to generate a response in the form of an order, a request for further information, or a visit to a retail outlet. So you want to generate a response from the consumers by directly communicating with them. You can do it via text messages or through emails or phone calls and so on. You have all of these options where you can directly communicate with the consumers so as to generate a response from the consumer side. So all of these are the promotional activities that we talk about in integrated marketing communications. Coming back to that definition, it's designing marketing communications programs. So we have all of these options in front of us, all of these promotional activities or all of these options like advertising, personal selling, sales promotion, public relations, and direct marketing. And here we're only talking about these broad activities. Within advertising, we have television advertising, radio advertising, print advertising. Within television advertising, we have different channels where we can put our advertisement on. In those channels, we have different programs or series or more platforms which we can select in order to advertise about. So we have broadly these 5 promotional activities. Now, we want to coordinate all of these activities, or we want to make use of all or some of these activities, and we want to create a communication program for our organization. So what we are trying to do is we have all these different options available with us, and we don't want to use all of these options. We want to only use some because we have limited resources. So we want to use some of these activities, and we want to design a communication program. Now we want to design this communication program to provide a consistent message across all audiences. So we want to make sure that even though we are using these different platforms or different promotional activities, we want to make sure that we are providing a consistent message across all of these programs or all of these activities and to all of our audiences. So that is integrated marketing communications, integrating all of the communication platforms that we have together to provide a consistent message. Now, developing the promotional mix is basically your promotional mix, your mixture of promotional activities that you want to select in your communication program, in your integrated marketing communication program. All of these activities that you select can depend, or these should depend on the following, and we're going to discuss these one by one. You have to look at these following: target audience, product life cycle, product characteristics, stages of the consumer journey, and channel strategies to design your promotional mix. And we're going to look at them one by one. So the first one is the target audience. So we have all of these different programs or different platforms available with us. But depending on who your target audience is, you're going to select one of those or two of those or three of those or all of those, basically depending on who your target audience is. For example, if you're a real estate agent, your target audience is people who are looking for a house. You might want to go for personal selling because you have to have a two-way communication with them. You want to know what exactly they want, and then you want to communicate back to them what you have in your listings. Or if you have, for example, a specific age group that watches certain types of TV programs, you might want to go for television advertising. Or if you have college students, you might want to go for, or students, you might want to go for sales promotion, and so on. So based on who your target audience is, you will have to think of the promotional mix that you want to go with. Next is the product life cycle, or the stages in the product life cycle rather. So based on what stage, introduction, growth, or growth, maturity, or decline, based on which stage you are on, you have to pick up the promotional mix that you want to go with. For example, we're going to take an example of new dog food. If you want to, or dog food, if you are a new dog food company, you've just introduced your dog food to the customers, your objective, your promotional activity, or your promotional mix should be um, should consist of these following. That is, your objective is to inform right now. So you'll go for publicity in veterinary magazines. You can go for advertising. You can go for sales force calling on intermediaries. You can go for sales promotion in the form of free samples. So you're basically going for publicity, advertising, personal selling, and sales promotion. So your promotional mix consists of all of these together. Now, if you are in the growth stage, if you're a dog food and you move on from introduction to growth stage, your objective is to persuade. Your objective is to show that you're different than others because you're in growth stage. Now you have competition. So your promotional activity or mix will consist of personal selling to intermediaries, advertising to differentiate your dog chow. It says your dog food brand is dog chow, attributes from those of competing brands. So that's your objective over there, and that's how your mix will change. When you go to maturity stage, your objective is to remind. So your activity mix or your promotional mix will have reminder advertising, sales promotion in the form of discounts and coupons, limited personal selling. Now you don't want to spend much on personal selling, and direct mail reminders because you want to again remind people that you exist. And when you move on to decline stage, your objective is to phase out. You'll only spend a little amount of money on promotion. So that's how your promotional mix activities or your promotional mix or your promotional activities will change or will depend based on what stage of the product life cycle you're in. Next is the product characteristics. For example, it will depend on the complexity, risk, or ancillary services, and we'll look at all of these one by one. So the first one is complexity. So based on how complex or non-complex your product is, your promotional mix will change. So if your product is a complex product, for example, Course Connect, I took your Course Connect, but basically if it is a software product, so the software product can have it can have much complexity. So if it is a complex product, you might want to go for personal selling. You might want a two-way communication where you want these customers to ask you questions, you respond them back, and that's how you try to influence those consumers. You might not want to go for sales promotion here, for example. If you're giving them, oh, you buy one product and we're going to give you 50% discount, that won't work here because it's a complex product. It's a software product where you're not just interested in, lowering your price down, but the customer is really interested in understanding the complexity, the different things that he or she can find in the product. So complexity is one. Next is the risk factor. So depending on how much risk they have in buying that product or that is associated with that product, the promotional mix will change again. For example, for mutual funds, if you're wanting to invest in mutual funds, it has a risk factor associated with it, and that's why the promotional mix will depend on the risk and non-risk, how much is it associated with the product. And the ancillary services, basically these are the add-on products that you can buy in addition to the purchase you're making already. So if you're buying those ancillary services, or if you're trying to sell those ancillary services, you'll have to decide on the promotional mix accordingly. For example, software service. It's not the software, but the software service that will provide you 24/7 customer support, and you'll have to buy this. So that's one. Or help with instructions or repair issues. All of these are ancillary services that are add-ons to the product that you're buying. And depending on that, you'll select a promotional mix. Next is the stages of the consumer journey, and we have only divided these into three parts, that is pre-purchase, purchase, and post-purchase. We're not talking about all the 5 stages in the consumer purchase decision, but we've only divided them into these 3 just to simplify everything. So you can see pre-purchase, purchase, and post-purchase there as the stage of consumer's purchase decision. And on the y-axis, you can see importance of promotional tool going from low to high. So the importance of advertising. Advertising has the highest importance in the pre-purchase stage of consumer's purchase decision, because people look at advertising and that's how you build your brand. That's how people you create awareness amongst people about your brand. So advertising has the highest importance there. Next comes in the purchase, the public relations. Next is sales promotion, and the lowest of all is personal selling. So the personal selling has least importance in the initial pre-purchase stage. And then that moves on when it goes to purchase stage, when you're at the purchase stage. So you have all your opinions and everything has been built. But now when you're in the purchase stage, what is of most importance is personal selling. So at the time of purchase, you want to have a communication with you want to create a communication between the buyer and the seller. And that's why personal selling is most important at the time of purchase. Then comes sales promotion or direct marketing. Because here, now in order to give that push to buy your product, you have to offer some sales promotion, because you know that this is the time when the person is buying the product, actually buying the product. So the sales promotion or direct marketing becomes of high importance. Lower than that is public relations, and the least important at that point of time is advertising. You're not going to see, when you're going to go for a purchase, you're not going to go and look, oh, are they advertising or not? That doesn't make any sense during purchase. Next is post-purchase. You see advertising again goes up in post-purchase, because you want to go for reminder advertising. You want to reduce cognitive dissonance among consumers. You don't want them to have a doubt in their minds. So you want to go for reminder advertisement in order to tell them that you made a right decision. And also for them to be loyal to your brand, you again want to show them that, see, we're still there. You want to go for advertising again. And then again, next to that is personal selling, next to that is sales promotion, and the least important is public relations. So again, because you want these people to come back to you, you want these people to have no doubts about the purchase that they've just made, advertising again picks up at this point of time in the in this stage of consumer journey. The last one is channel strategies, the last in the promotional mix, when we're taking a decision of which promotional tools to go with. And we're going to discuss the channel strategies in next class.